Let's talk about Janice Soprano. When we first meet Janice, she actually calls herself Parvati, though she still responds to Janice.
Now, you look sensational, Janice, really. No, not a line.
Two beautiful kids, you must be proud.
Yeah. Yeah, how about that, huh? Even with our genes.
There's nothing holding us together but DNA. So look, all I need is a couple of $100.
When she returns to New Jersey and goes to see her mother, right away it's the back and forth, Livia making remarks.
Janice, what did I tell you last week? Where'd I put my money?
Janice!
You know, this is very important. No, I must have put it somewhere.
I never raised a child. I was robbed of that when Eugene took him back to Montreal. I'm still petitioning the State Department, but I think they have me on their enemy radicals list.
Janice has a little reunion with Richie April when she returns, and when he returns from where he was. She was in Seattle, he was in the can. This is no flash in the pan. By the time we're at the end of season 2, Richie and Janice are engaged to be married. They even have a whole engagement party and everything. But then... Fortunately, he was buried on a hill overlooking a little river with pine cones all around. It's nice to know he got a dignified burial. Something important to note, when we think of Soprano family members that wanted to kill Tony Soprano, of course, Livia and Junior come to mind. But also that Janice tried to do the same thing in season 2. She tried to egg Richie on, no pun intended.
Just saying, I don't think you should take any shit from him.
I heard you the first time. Let's drop the subject.
I gotta be loyal. Without that, we crumble.
Tell that to Paul Castellano. My father was in Tony's position. He gave Romeo Martin $50,000 when he got out of jail. Now we're talking about 30 years ago. 30 years ago.
What now for Janice? Well, she goes back to Seattle, but then returns shortly after for the funeral of her mother, Livia Soprano.
Janice, what are you doing? Very good. We can all take a break from eating for 5 minutes. It won't kill us. Well, most of you will probably remember that I have an extraordinary visual sense. When I was a child, my mother didn't let me rest on those laurels. She didn't flatter me.
Richie didn't come home last night. She's worried about him.
Oh, sure. Probably jilted her. That's the story of her life.
She believed that wildflowers blossom best among the rocks. Little water. She was tough. But she was right.
What kind of a fucking chance did she have with you as her mother? You're always nagging her about her weight. She goes out on a date, she comes home, you call her a fucking tramp.
I'm on the way out in the car.
I never said anything of the kind.
I heard you.
Throughout the series, we see a few different kinds of Janices.
I stole a woman's prosthetic leg, Tony. When did I get like this?
Stepping back for a second to Janice moving into Livia's house.
Speaking of which, my mom had this kind of extensive record collection. Caruso, Robert Merrill, shitload of Broadway shows. Many of them were in mint condition. Do you know where they are?
She gave to me those records.
What?
She know I like American short tunes, so she gave to me. I didn't ask her.
But those are my mother's records, and I feel very close to them.
I don't want make a trouble, but Miss Janice, I feel I have to respect her wishes.
Oh, come on. This is just about you bogarting those discs for your ass. They're worth a fortune to the right collector.
I will not answer such here.
I want the entire discography back at the house by this weekend.
Someone else who lived there prior to Livia passing away was Svetlana, Livia's nurse. Svetlana, who we see comes to play a role later on in the series, has a prosthetic leg, and because she refuses to give Janice Livia's old records, Janice steals her prosthetic leg in the middle of the night. And then Svetlana has two of her friends come beat up Janice, who then ends up in the hospital. Right here.
I think there's only one trajectory for me.
Really?
God? I think it's the illusion of control.
Control?
You say, like, the most horrible shit you can think of in the face of tragedy. It's like you're saying to God, see? You don't fool me, asshole. I know what you're planning. Remember how Ma, she hated compliments? Giving them or taking them? Because then maybe, at any minute, boom. Ma, Febby, Uncle June, always comes in threes, huh? And then there's the Holy Trinity. You think that's a coincidence?
Janice feels there's only one path for her. God. And Aaron Arkaway. Or something like that. I mean, what are we selling? Ajax? Blood clean stains? Talk about going from one end of the spectrum to the other. Things don't work out with Aaron Arkaway. So, who's next? Ralph Cifaretto. Janice and Ralph actually don't see each other for too long. It's really just at the beginning of season 4. But Ralph breaks up with Ro and is all happy, wants to be with Janice. And she's like, oh, what the fuck did I get myself into?
Didn't I ask you to take your shoes off when you came in this house?
Forgot. Sorry, hon.
You forgot. So that's just it. You fucking forgot!
In season 4, episode 3, Bobby Bacalieri's wife, Karen, tragically dies in a car crash.
Just lost his wife. And he had so much sadness, you know? So much love for her, such complete and pure emotion. I felt unworthy to even be in his presence. I was so moved by him. And then I look at Ralphie.
You saw in this man the things that you want in your life. Truth. Love.
Yes. Somehow I have to find a way to move away from the darkness and toward the light.
But back to Ralph. You've got to sit him down and level with him. Speak the truth, Jan. But with the compassion and respect that you're famous for.
Oh, fuck.
Get out! Get out!
Pretty much right away, Janice sets her sights on Bobby. And when I say sets her sights, I mean literally looks out the window with her binoculars to see what's going on at his home. And when she sees Jojo Palmisi there,
oh, the chicken, Bobby? Put it in a 350 oven for 20 minutes. You just want to heat it. And if you have some egg noodles, it's better the first night, so enjoy.
Thank you, Jojo.
while Janice acts extremely inappropriately and even going so far as to message Bobby's kid online to try to mess with their heads, there is one point when she makes a comment to Bobby that I think does make sense.
It's very easy for people to give facile advice. Suck it up, move on, etc. I'm not going to tell you that. Grieving is a process. Sometimes courage isn't a value.
She's my wife.
Well, she's dead, and I'm here.
So through Janice's trickery and manipulation of sorts, she and Bobby end up together. And by the time we enter season 5, Janice and Bobby are married.
Everybody sit.
Now, please.
This is great of you, Aunt Jan, keeping the Sunday dinner tradition going.
Can you get the roast out of the oven?
Hand clam chowder?
Go sit, goddammit.
Kid tripped my kid. That's legal. She was going for the ball. She was not. Scarf, come on!
Your kid is out of control. She's been tripping and pushing all summer.
Oh, what are you, crazy?
Oh!
Oh. Please, come on, somebody!
Janice's troubles don't go away when she marries Bobby. She still has issues controlling her temper, and we see that on full display at Sophia's soccer game.
You have every right to be mad at me. And I apologize. I know it's bad for the family. For business. But I'm working on it.
Yeah, I know. Bobby told me. So how's that going?
Anger management? It's the best thing that ever happened to me. It's such a relief to let go of all that shit. I never realized what an angry person I was and how it fed itself.
So they got you on tranquilizers.
No. Basically, it's taking responsibility for your anger and learning to recognize your feelings of anger and that they're just feelings. You don't have to act on them.
So, her brother's happy for her, right? He sees Janice doing well, and he's like, that's scary to him. So he knows just how to trigger her in that special soprano way.
I wonder what's French Canadian for. I grew up without a mother. Sacre bleu! Where is me mama?
Directs the film of your life from conception to death.
Enter season 6. Janice and Bobby have had a baby. Nika. Domenica. Nika for short. But that's not without its drama either.
I told you last week we have Nika's preschool meeting.
She's 15 months old.
No one was more competitive than your wife when it came to the stuff with AJ.
A lot of good it did.
This child, constantly wanting the breast.
She's your little twin.
It's funny how Tony says she's your twin because the little girl who plays Nika actually is a twin.
I don't know why you just can't admit that you blame us that you got shot.
Unfortunately, I have only myself to blame.
You don't blame me for the shooting? Well, you fucking blame me for something.
Jan, the baby.
Domenica, take care of your things. I don't know where it comes from. All your anger, your hate for me. I'm your sister. I know I'm not perfect.
I wasn't always perfect, but I always tried to do the best I could.
Janice tells Carmela that Sandy, her therapist, told her that it wasn't that Livia didn't love them as kids. It was just that as they started to grow and have independent thoughts, that's when the trouble started. And I think we can actually see that very behavior, that very attitude, later on in this very episode. Janice is furious that Nika had the audacity to say no. The idea that she would have an independent thought that wasn't in line with what Janice wanted her to do. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that Janice is irrational for being concerned about knowing where her daughter is and making sure that she's not in the water unattended. But here I think we can clearly see that she's being supervised by 2 adults. She has her little water floaties on. It's not a matter of Nika not being safe. It's more a matter of Janice feeling like she doesn't have control over the situation, in my opinion.
Domenica, did you hear me? I'm talking to you.
No.
Sandy said something interesting. That when we were babies, everything was fine. But Ma couldn't stand that as her babies got older, they separated from her.
Nika, come over here.
No.
Don't tell me no. Don't you ever tell me no.
When they started to talk and express ideas, that's when the trouble started.
Put her to bed now.
And I know you didn't. Any of you didn't like it when I tried to tell you what to do. Babies are like animals. They're no different than dogs. Somebody has to teach them right from wrong.
But we both know, no matter how much help I gave, you'd still be here fucking complaining.
Oh my God. There's nothing holding us together but DNA.
It's one of those comments where you really can take it and from a 30,000-foot level look at the entire series. The last time we see Janice is in the series finale at the house that she and the Bacala Aries now live in, minus Bobby, who was killed in the prior episode.
Ferraris.
Anyway, thank you for being here.
So what happens now?
That's a good question posed by Tony. So what happens next? What do you think happens next? If the Sopranos story were to continue on from that point? What do you think Janice would do? The possibilities are endless. Of course, we'll never know, but something to think about.
Nika is my daughter. She's very much into her older sister. Sophia's out of her mind if she thinks she's getting out of this house.
Is that a joke? 'Cause that one even got by me.
Finally, what are your thoughts on Janice